Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to Logical Redstone. Today we're going to be talking about binary to BCD. In other words, we want to take a binary number, for example, 32, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and we want to convert it into BCD form. BCD form means that you take all the digits of the number, in our case it's 32, and you represent each digit using 4 bits of binary. So this first packet of 4 is 3, and this second packet of 4 is 2. This makes it a lot easier to read, and you can also display it on a screen way easier because you can use BCD to 7 segment displays that I made in the displays video. We can input 3 here, 2 here, and then on the screen, we have a nice 32. So how do we make a Redstone device that can take any binary number and transform it into BCD form? Well, that sounds pretty complicated if you've never done it before, and so your first thought might be just make a giant encoder. You can just put all of your different binary numbers on the side, and you can have them encode into its BCD form. For example, if I turn on the switch for 11, we're gonna get 1, 1 in BCD. But there's a huge problem with this. Anytime you want to add a bit to the input, the amount of inputs you can do doubles in size, which means that our encoder is going to double in size. For example, if you wanted to make a binary to BCD converter for any 8-bit number, your encoder would have to be 256 lines, because 8 bits can represent any number between 0 and 255. Please do not make a 256 line encoder or you are going to be in the next Cursed Redstone video. Instead, we're going to use an algorithm to convert binary to BCD. The algorithm I'm going to show you guys is called Double Dabble. Basically, the way that Double Dabble is going to work is you have your binary number out here. This can be anything you want. In our case right now, it's 16. What we're going to do with this number is we're going to gradually shift it in to the left into these registers. As it's being shifted in, we're going to implement a rule to fix itself, and you'll see what I mean by that later. And then by the time you're done shifting, you should see 16 on these BCD registers. So what I mean by that is you'll see 1 and a 6, and you'll see 16 in BCD. So let's try to pseudo convert 16 into BCD while we know the very basics of how it works. We're going to perform 5 consecutive shifts because there's 5 bits in the number that we want to convert. If we were converting an 8-bit number, we would need 8 shifts. Alright, so let's shift it the first time. We're going to literally take this number and move it once over to the left, like this. As you probably already know, when you shift to the left in binary, you're multiplying the entire number by 2. But that property does not always hold in BCD. For example, if you have 8 right here, and then you shift it over, well, you want it to say 16. But it doesn't say 16. It says 10 now, which is 10. So Double Dabble, after every single shift, is going to attempt to fix all of these registers so that you're multiplying by 2 in BCD. So let's continue our shifts. We only did 1 shift so far. Now we have to do 4 more. Our second shift is going to look like this. And now it says 002. It said 001 last time, so we're good. It multiplied by 2 in BCD. Here's our third shift, and now it says 004. So we're still good. It multiplied by 2 again. Here's our fourth shift, 008. We're still good. We multiplied by 2. And then on our fifth and final shift, it says 010, which is 10. So Double Dabble says, hey, you didn't multiply by 2 because you should have a 16 now. So it fixes itself. It adds 6 right here. And now it says 016, which is 16. So we have successfully converted our number, which was 16 right here, into BCD, 016. But how does it know when to just magically fix itself? I mean, we haven't even given it a rule. Well, let's look into it in a little bit more detail and try to figure out when it needs fixing. So what I did here in the first column of this table is I just took 0 through 9 and I wrote them out in binary. That's all I did. The first row up here is 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 9. Then, in the second column, what I did is I shifted our bits over to the left, because that's what's going to happen during Double Dabble. So I took each individual row and I shifted it over to the left by 1. For example, if we look at 4, we have 1 bit that's right here, and then after the shift, that bit has moved over to right here. If we have 5, it looks like this. After the shift, it looks like this. So the question is, how many of these rows stayed accurate as if you multiplied them by 2 in BCD? What I mean by that is, if we take 3 and we shift it to the left, did it stay accurate if you multiplied it by 2 in BCD? Yes, it did, because we had 3 before, and now it shows 6, because it's 06. But for something like 7, after we shift it to the left, we want it to show 14 in BCD, and this is not 14, this is like 0, and, well, this isn't even valid BCD, this is more than 9. So in the third column, I basically said, alright, if it's correct, and if it multiplied it by 2 in BCD, I'm just going to put a green check mark by it. And as you can see, that happens with 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. For every number 0 through 4, if you shift it to the left, it multiplies it by 2, not only in binary, but also in BCD. But for everybody else, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, we need to fix it. And it turns out we can actually fix it in the exact same way every single time. We can just add 6 to it. So for example, let's fix 5. Here we have 5. We shifted it to the left, but we didn't get 10 in BCD like we wanted to. So to fix it, we have to add 6. If we add 6, well, here we have 10 in binary plus 6, which is 16. And so it's going to make a bit right here, which is the 16th bit. But in BCD, now it looks like 10 because it's 1, 0. All right, let's fix 7. So we have 7 here. We shifted it to the left. This does not show 14. We fix it by adding 6. If you add a 6 here, this is basically 14 in binary plus 6 in binary, which equals 20. 20 is a 16 and a 4. But if you read it as BCD, now it says 14. So all of a sudden, our rule to fix our number as it shifts across is not that complicated. It's really, really simple. Any number from 0 to 4, you don't have to do anything to it. But any number from 5 to 9, well, you just have to add 6. And so I wrote the rule right here on a sign. If our input is greater than 4, add 6. But notice this comes after the shift. When we implement it in Redstone, it's actually going to come before the shift. So I'm just going to modify our rule a little bit to make it, if the input is greater than 4, add 3 instead of 6. And it comes before the shift. Why can we do this? Because these two rules are perfectly equivalent. Adding 6 after a shift is the exact same effect as adding 3 before the shift. And again, that just comes back to the shifting multiplying by 2 stuff. Alright, let's try running through a real double dabble now. To keep it simple, let's convert 128, which is just 1 with 7 zeros after it. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply our rule and then shift. And we're going to do that 8 times because there are 8 bits in the input. Alright, here we go. Round 1, apply the rule. Are any of these greater than 4? If so, we need to add 3. These are all 0, so we're good. Shift, and so we shift this across. Round 2, apply our rule. Are any of these greater than 4? Nope, so we're good. Shift. Round 3, are any of these greater than 4? Nope, so just shift again. Round 4, are any of these greater than 4? Nope, so just shift. Round 5, are any of these greater than 4? Yes, we have an 8 which is greater than 4. So we add 3 to it, and now that we're done applying our rule, we shift. Round 6, apply our rule. Are any of these greater than 4? Yes, we have a 6. So 6 plus 3 is 9. And now we shift. Round 7, are any of these greater than 4? Nope, so we can just shift. Round 8, which is the final round, are any of these greater than 4? Yes, we have a 6, so we need to make it into a 9. And then shift. And there we go. We got 1, 2, 8. 128 in BCD. And the beautiful thing about Double Dabble is you can literally put any binary number in here, any size, as long as you keep following these two rules for the amount of bits you have, you will always convert your binary number into BCD. So this is a finished binary to BCD that I built right here. It's 8 bits, so it can convert any 8-bit number into 3 digits of BCD. It has a speed of 3 ticks per bit. I just wanted to show it off a little bit before actually going into the tutorial. But yeah, if you do 64 plus, I don't know, 16, we want that to be 80. So if we press this button, we get 80, which is 80. And if you do all of them, you will get 255. 255. Alright, let's implement this into Redstone. You're going to start with 4 blocks with a space in between them, like this. Then you're going to put a repeater here, a block here, another block here, and fill everything with redstone. Now take this guy, go down 1 block, and we're going to make this go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now we can take this whole thing and stack it 3 times to the left. So 1 spot here, 1 spot here, expand 1, and stack 3. Then over here, it's going to be really similar. We're going to do a repeater, block, dust, block with dust, and then this time instead of 10, it's going to be 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And fill it with dust. Then you can just stack this guy 3 over, expand 1, stack 3, and then go in the middle and just replace all these with lamps for the time being, because we don't want any loops to be created while we're building this. Alright, then I'm going to use a different color and go up here, and we're going to go 1 block past the blue underneath it. Then let's go over here and do the same thing, except it's going to be 1 before the blue this time. Stack it 3 times across, and now you should have something that looks like this. Then I'm going to use a different color and go in here, place a block here, 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 and here. Then put redstone on top of them, then stack it across the blue, and then you're going to go to the other side and make 5 lines instead of 4. So 1 here, 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 and here. Redstone dust on top, and stack it across, and now it should look like this. So how is this going to work? Well, we're going to input a BCD digit into these 4 bits right here. It's going to come along on this green and decode into a number from 1 through 9. That's why we have 9 purple lines here. Once it decodes into its purple line, it's going to encode back into the number that we want. What is the number that we want? Well, it's given to us by this table over here. If we have a 8, for example, the number we want is 1, 6. Or if we input a 6, the number we want back out is 1, 2. So I'm going to call these 4 lines 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's start making the decoder. You need a torch here for 1, here for 2, here for 3, and here for 4. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 written in binary right there. Then if you remember how to make a decoder, we need these green lines to power every single line below them, except for the one that they're powering with the torch. In the decoder video, the way I did it is I literally just put a repeater behind it like this, so that it can power the purple underneath it, but this is not that great. The reason it's not great is because it takes a lot of delay to get from the input all the way to the end of the green. We want a synchronous decoder. The way to make a synchronous decoder is like this. You're going to put slabs here, 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 and here, punch out all of these blocks, put repeaters on top of the slabs, and then build up 2 blocks like this. And then take the entire line and put redstone on top of it. And now, as you can see, when this redstone gets powered over here, it's going to go across this entire line with no delay, but still use all of these repeaters and power the lines underneath it. So now we're going to take this same repeater concept and put it above every single purple line that doesn't have a torch above it. So for this second line, we need them here, here, and here. So I'm going to go underneath and put a slab there, there, and there. And then same thing as before, punch out the blocks, repeaters, blocks on top, and redstone. On this third line, we need a repeater here and here, and then on the first line, we need one here and here. And again, the reason I know where they go is because it's wherever there's not a torch. Alright, the decoding on the left half is done, so if we put a redstone block here, this first line is going to turn off, and all the others are going to stay on. If we put in a 2, the second line turns off, 3, third line, or if we put in a 4, we want the 4th line to go off. Now let's do the decoding on this side. We want a 5, a 6, a 7, and an 8. Now for the 9, I'm going to make it a little bit weird. I'm going to bring down this block and put a torch here, and then for this, I'm going to bring this up and put a torch there. Now I need to go through and put in the repeaters again. This first line on the right needs to power the first 3 purple lines. So just like before, slab, slab, slab. And you make your repeaters. Alright, that's what I did here. This next line needs to power the last 2 purple. So the way I'm going to do that is by putting a repeater on the end like this. And then for this guy, we're going to do it in our normal way with a slab. The third green line needs to power here, here, and here. So for the end, I'm going to make it the exact same way that I did the other one, where you have a repeater on the end, and then a slab here. And then just put your normal repeater right here. All right, and then for the last line, we need one here and here. All right, the decoding on the right side is now complete. So if we test them out, for example, if we put in an 8, we want the 8th line to go off. Or if we put in a 6, we want the 6th line to go off. And again, these are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Over here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now for the encoding part. So you might have noticed that I actually split it according to the rule. Everything over here is just going to get shifted, but everything over here is going to get shifted and add 6. So for the left side with 1, 2, 3, 4, we can literally just put in torches for 1, 2, 3, 4, but shifted. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. On this side, we need to shift and add 6, but sometimes by shifting and adding 6, we need to actually access the 16, and I don't have the 16 with just this module. So that means we need to actually power the next guy's 1, which is the 16 in reference to the first guy. So I'm going to make another line here, which is exactly the same as this guy. And then just trust me on this part. You're going to need blocks here, 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 and here. And then you're going to raise up this line so that it lines up with the blocks you just placed. And then put redstone on top of these. And you're also going to need to take this purple, bring it down like this. Now we're ready to encode for 5 through 9. We want the 5 to go to 16 because if you shift it over to make it 10 and then add 6, you get 16. Or another way to think about it, you add 3 to get 8, shift over to get 16. So 16 is right here with this torch. Then we want 6 to go to 18, which is 16 and 2. We want 7 to go to 20, which is 16 and 4. We want 8 to go to 22, which is 16 and 6. And then we want 9 to go to 24, which is 16 and 8. And all you have to do is put a torch right there. Then just put a lamp here, and let's test it out. I'm going to put some blocks across here with some levers on them to help me test. So let's see if it follows the rules of Double Dabble. If we input 1, 1 is not greater than 4, so it's just going to get shifted over to the 2. If we put in 5, well, 5 is greater than 4, so we're going to shift it and then add 6 to get 16. If we put in 3, 3 is not greater than 4, so we just shift it, and yeah. So I recommend testing all the digits 0 through 9 to make sure they follow the rule of Double Dabble before moving on. Now I'm going to take these lever things off, as well as replacing these lamps with blocks and dust. And then over on this side, I'm actually going to modify the output a little bit just so it's a little bit easier to reach. So do that, bring this up, and then put redstone on all of these. All right, now let's just stack this 2 times. That way we have 3 digits of BCD to read from. So I'm going to take a corner right here, and then I'm going to take another corner right here. I'm going to go over here and do / copy while I'm standing on this block. Then I'm going to go over here and go onto this guy's 1 and do / paste -A. -A is super important here. And then do it again. / paste -A. And now we have 3 digits of BCD. So the data is going to be sent in right here. So let's build the device that actually sends in the data. After you put the repeater there, you want to put a block here, and you want this line to be 15 long. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 15. And then before building the rest of this, you should probably just get rid of this repeater so that it doesn't get sent in prematurely and cause a bunch of lag. Now you want to build a torch with a block here, another block with a torch on top of it, dust here, and then a block right here. Then you're going to put a lamp on top with a lever, and you're going to stack this whole thing 7 times to the right. But you want a block of space in between, so you can expand it by 1 and stack 7. And now we have a total of 8. Every single one should be attached to this line. Then you want to make another block with a torch and put a repeater on 3 ticks, and then stack this 7 times as well. On the very first one over here, we actually don't need a 3-tick repeater. We can replace it with a 3-tick pulse generator. And I'm just going to put a lamp here. 1, 2, 3. And now when you put a button on this lamp, it's going to be your calculate button, or in other words, it's going to run the machine. Now we need to build a way to capture the output after a certain amount of time, specifically after 8 shifts of time, because otherwise it'll just keep shifting forever and we'll never get our answer. At the end of all these slabs, you want a 4-block thing like this: comparator, repeater, 2 dust, torch, another torch, and then this is going to be your answer. Then put a block here, dust, torch, and also put a dust to cancel this comparator. Now we can stack this thing 11 more times across so that we have 12 digits total in our answer. So stack 11. So these are just memory cells to capture the answer, but we need the circuit to basically cancel these comparators until I tell it to unlock. And the way that you can do that is with a block here, a torch, and then an entire line of these torches like this, and then just trim the end because you don't need that. So we want these comparators to unlock and save our answer as soon as our answer is ready. But how do we know when our answer is ready? Well, down here, we're pressing start, and then it's going to go through all these comparators. By the time it gets to right here, we know the answer is ready. So I'm going to make a circuit that takes this output and connects it to the unlock line. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a repeater right here, and put dust on top. Then go up by 1 block and go all the way right before the slab like this, and put a repeater right here with dust on the rest. Then we want this to power the unlock line, but it has to do it synchronized. So just take it from the middle here and connect it up like this. Let's put our signs on the inputs. So we want 1, 2, etc. all the way to 128. Let's put some separators on the output so that it's easier to read. And now we're ready to give this our first test. We're not completely done, so don't leave yet, but go ahead and put your repeater back and test anything you want. Let's do 128 plus 64. We want, what is this, 192, I believe? So if we press this button, 192. Now, depending on what input you chose to test it, you may have noticed a problem. What is going on here? As it turns out, if you just save the answer off of the decoders and then just don't do anything to the decoders like we're doing here, it's going to loop forever because the Double Dabble algorithm creates infinitely long patterns. So what we need to do is build in a way to clear the decoders after our answer is done. Well, we know our answer is done right here on this yellow line, so let's build our clear function right off of this yellow line. The way that we clear the decoder, or send it back to 0, is to just give it something that it doesn't know how to read. These decoders can only read numbers from 1 through 9, so let's just give them all 10. So let's put a torch right here into a repeater on 3 ticks, and then up into a block and down like this. Then just take this line and extend it so that it covers the entire thing. Put redstone on top of it, put some repeaters in between the modules so that it's more of a gradual clear, and also so that the signal reaches all the way. So now we just put torches on the 10 for each decoder. In other words, we put a torch for 8 and a torch for 2, so that when this decoder sees 10, it will clear. And now we need to do the same thing over here. 8 and 2, 8 and 2. And the last thing we need in order for this to run properly is when you press this button to run the machine, we want it to clear the answer from last time. The way that we clear it is setting these RS latches, or these memory cells, back to the 0 state. And you can do that by powering the redstone dust on top of these. So let's just automate that process. Put a block here, put a slab here, block here, and now this repeater will clear this cell. So put repeaters like this for every single cell, and connect them all with one giant line like this. Alright, should look something like this. And now let's connect the signal from the very beginning of the run into the clear. So that way when we press this button, right away it's going to go up here and clear it from last time. So just connect this up, put a bunch of redstone on top of it, and then just put repeaters. So we need a repeater right here, and also right here. And with that, we are done. Let's just manually clear this guy real quick. That way it stops yelling at us. And now we are ready to test any input you want. Let's put in, I don't know, 54, 32, 16, 4, and 2. Run. 54. Let's try all of them. So 8 ones is just 255. 255. Awesome. So that was a lot, and I totally recognize that. We've got, serial transfer going on. We've got memory cells. There's a lot to look at here. I wanted to show you this design, which is called serial binary to BCD, by the way, because it matches what we were doing pretty well. I mean, we're literally sending in our number, which is over there. We're sending it into the registers, and we're shifting it over and following the rules. That's literally what we're doing with this machine. But there's actually another design, which is a lot bigger, but it doesn't use any memory cells, clocks, nothing. It's just a combinational input and output design. And that design is right here. The blue is our 8-bit input. We have 1, 2, 4, all the way to 128. It goes through this circuit, and the output is the red. First digit, second digit, and third digit of BCD. So if you send in 128 on this circuit, what you'll end up getting is 1, 2, 8. 128. So that seems really simple. What are these orange boxes? Well, the orange boxes are just going to simulate the shifting and fixing for us. These boxes all have 4 inputs and 4 outputs, but their inputs are all relative. What I mean by that is, this guy's not seeing 128 and 64. All the boxes, every single box, is seeing 8, 4, 2, and 1 in the box's mind. Then, based on that input into his mind, he's going to output according to the Double Dabble rule. If he sees a number that's greater than 4, he's going to add 3 to it. If he doesn't see a number that's greater than 4, he does nothing to it. So now that we know what the orange box does, let's just simulate this. I'm going to put in 128. Once I put in 128, this guy, he doesn't see 128, he just sees 4. 4 is not greater than 4, so he's just going to output a 4. Then this guy sees an 8. 8 is greater than 4, so he's going to output 11. And this signal is going to go all the way up. This guy sees a 6, so he's going to add 3 and make it 9. This guy sees a 3, so he's just going to do nothing to it. This guy sees a 2, so he's also going to do nothing to it. This guy sees a 6, so he's going to make it 9 by adding 3 to it. This guy sees a 4, which again is not greater than 4, so it just outputs this. And if you continue these signals upwards, you can see that we got our final answer, 128. So all we have to do to implement this into Redstone is make an orange box in Redstone, and then we can make the entire circuit. Here's the orange box, and here is the entire circuit. So this guy follows the rules of the orange box. If we input a 5, it's going to make it 8. If we input something small, like 3, which is less than 5, we just get a 3 right back. So if we put in 128 right here, it goes through all of the orange boxes, and we get 128. So this design is called Combinational Binary to BCD because it takes our input and goes straight into our output. No funny business, no clocks, no serial data, no memory cells or anything. So I'm not going to make a tutorial for this because the video is already going pretty long, and this is actually very simple to make. This orange part is a vertical decoder, which decodes from 1 through 9. 1 is on the very bottom, and 9 is on the very top. So if you input 1, the first line turns off. If you input 2, the second line turns off, and so on, all the way to the top. Then once we know what number we have from 1 through 9, we can just encode it into what we want. So for example, the 9 is encoded with these 2 torches right here, and these 2 torches turn it into a 12, an 8, and a 4, because 9 needs to map to 12. If you look down here at the 1 just gets encoded back into a 1 because it's less than 5. So you just put a torch here, and it encodes onto the 1 line. So hopefully that's enough to get you started and make one for yourself, but if you're on Java and you want to check out the world download, you can do that as well. That's in the description. And that's all I've got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed going over both the serial design and the combinational design. Let me know which one is your favorite and why in the comments. I'll see you next time. Peace out.